I want to say good morning to everybody, and thank you for joining my little webinar today. Yes, this is Mental Health Week that we have going on here, and I wanted to share with you, with everyone going through everything together, similar, things that we're going through now. It's definitely a challenging time, and I just wanted everybody to know and give you some little tricks and things like that about our hair. As women especially, during these trying times, in my 14 years of being a stylist, what I've learned is that for the most part, when our hair looks good, we tend to feel good, even if we're coming down with a cold, or we're not feeling well, or we're having a bit of, a down day, or, things are not going our way. And during this pandemic, unfortunately, we have, it seems like we don't really, if you're out of work and things like that, or you're home with your kids, things can get overwhelming. And even for me as a stylist, knowing how to do my own hair and things like that, I found it, at first I was like, ooh, this is great, I'm on vacation. But after a while, things started to settle in quite a bit. And I was finding that I myself was getting down and starting to wake up feeling with this heavy sadness and things like that. Wasn't doing my hair, wasn't doing my makeup. I didn't have anywhere to go or anything to do. And you weren't allowed to go anywhere. And the house can only get so clean. And I just want to share with you ladies that, and men out there as well, like how important it is that, that we take care of ourselves, even just with the tiniest little things, like getting out of bed, taking that shower, getting dressed, even if you don't have anywhere to go or anything to do specifically, because we can't right now. You still have, I kept thinking, well, nobody's going to see me, so what difference does it make? But there's mirrors in your house, there's mirrors in your bathroom, and there may be mirrors in your main living room and dining room and things like that, and you see yourself. And maybe your children, those who are living in your house, they see you as well. So you are portraying, how you're feeling by how you put yourself together. And I just found it was important for me, even though it was like, oh, I get a break, I don't have to do my hair and makeup. So many days of that in a row was getting me down, and that I had to drag myself and put myself in the shower and do my hair and do my makeup and things like that. And I can only imagine what it would be like for everyone else who is missing their hairstylist right at this moment. And I've done a few different little events where I actually show people how to style their own hair when I'm not available, or your hairstylist is not available. So this is a perfect time that I wanted to share with you all how this is these little tricks are going to make you feel better about yourself and your mental well-being, as we all struggle to get through these trying times together, because it's all of us for sure. A little note, what I am going to talk about, I did put down just so that everybody knows, we're going to talk a little bit about your hair, right? The cutting of it and the caring for it and the styling of it, right? I'm going to touch on a little bit of coloring for those of you I'm sure have, quite a bit of root growth, or if you haven't already tried to box dye your own color. I'm going to talk about how to pick that right color, how to mix it up, and then how to apply. And then we're going to touch on some men's cuts as well. I actually have a gentleman friend with me here as well. We can call him Rob. Rob's here too. So, and this is Sarah. So I wanted to show you a few little tricks, and for those of you who are feeling a bit down and missing that scalp massage maybe that your stylist used to give you and things like that. So get yourself a couple of really nice, great little, my little go-to little trick up my sleeve for a beautiful hair scalp massage and mask is actually coconut oil. And this works wonders to heat this up, apply this to your hair, put a bag on your hair, like whether it's a Sobeys bag or some saran wrap, and wrap it up, and you can leave it on for 5 or 10 minutes. I've left it on for an hour, and a lot of people would think that coconut oil is actually a little too greasy. Is it going to leave my hair a mess? But it's not. It's actually, and it melts quite quickly in your hands. It's great for your skin. It's that one oil, believe it or not, that one natural oil that your skin and your hair will absorb 100% of and not leave a residue. So that's my little secret that I have that I like to use. And to take that few extra minutes to massage your scalp and shampoo your hair almost like your stylist would do. I know it's not exactly the same, but it will make you feel better. I'll start with those girls who are looking to trim and maybe trim their bangs. When you're going to cut your own hair, oh, please, 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 here's a little trick that you might not know. When hair is wet, it's like an elastic band. And so when you pull on the hair to cut your bangs and your hair is wet, you're actually pulling it farther than what you think. So it's very important that you cut it long, per se, is my little trick to say there. And that if you're going to pull on the hair, keep in mind dry hair shrinks back. So it's key on that. Now, if you are going to, and I'll see if I can't get Sarah to stay a little bit more in place here instead of bouncing all over on me. Here we go. And see, so when you are trying to decide where to create your bang, you can usually go from where your hair drops down. So the fringe area, we tend to make it like right up from in the corner. We can make a little triangle or a deeper triangle, depending on how much of a bang you want or how much of an existing bang. Clips are key. I shouldn't put that in my mouth. Bad habit I have. Putting clips in to get the rest of the hair that you don't want to trim out of your way. Very important. Very important. So as you can see, she has a triangle at that top, right there. Let's see. And this is the first time I'm using this stand. So, be a little trickier. So this would be the triangle. I'm just going to make that a bit smaller. She doesn't want a super heavy bang. The fringe area has changed over the years. It's not as deep back as it used to be either. So there, that's a little bit smaller. She could actually use a little bit of that coconut oil that I was talking about with the tangles in the end. Right? So there is her. I'm not sure if you ladies can see that. So I'm just going to, oh, there we go. There. Okay, so there's the little triangle, so you can make that. And it's off the temples of your hair that you want to do that. Okay, that's very, very key. Set that up. Here's another little trick when you're cutting the hair, right? Especially if you want it to be longer on the sides and a little shorter in the center and have it frame your face. Even if you're making it so that it's going to swoop to the side, okay? So one of the things, remember, the hair is like an elastic band, right? And I'm just gonna come around here so that you can see what I'm about to do. So I'm gonna hold this hair down, not pulling too tight, because when you pull wet hair, it stretches like an elastic band, and I'm going to twist it, right? And then I'm gonna lay it flat between my fingers, like this. And that will give you that arch, right? That's that one little trick. And as you can see, I'm cutting her hair just below her nose. She's got really, really long hair to begin with. And she's thinking she wants to add a band of of a fringe area, pardon me, and you can spread that right out. Now, the little trick too is, yes, you can use any scissors, but I would definitely find the sharpest scissors that you have in your home. And instead of cutting right straight across and making a really harsh, blunt line, we're going to actually point cut. And so we're going to make a zigzag straight line. And we're just going to cut. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's jagged. And I'm going to it's straight, but the line is shattered a little bit. That's what we want to do there. And then we want to let it go. She now has, my goodness, I have a hard time getting this mannequin head to stay. She has a bag that will swoop to either side. As you can see, that sort of arches around this way, right? So we can take it up a little bit shorter so that you can see exactly what's happening there. So that's a little trick when it comes to cutting bags. Doing that off her temple. And you want to make sure you're doing it right face on. I'm going to go just below her nose. You can, if it makes it easier, cut that straight line and then go in and just soften that line a little bit, just so that it's jagged like that. Now, I don't want to cut hers too short. Take that out as well. Now that's one part. And of course it looks quite blunt right at the moment because this is mannequin hair. It's not quite like your own hair, right? You can also pick that up, not counting the longer ones, if your hair is a little thicker, and just take out a little bit of that weight on the ends as well, right? Again, not cutting into the longer hair. Soften that line. Now, if you have any questions along the way, what we're going to do is you can save them for the end. And I do have someone, because I can't see your questions and be online here with you at the same time. So there, see that line is quite soft, and I'll show you with styling afterwards. Now I'm going to switch to the girls who have their layers as well as cutting your length, because her hair is quite long. Here's a little trick. Take your hair, part it down the center of the back as best as you can. If you have to look in a mirror to look back, you can, and bring all your hair forward and have it lay on your shoulders. Make sure hers is right down the center in the back. And of course, I'm standing back here. Again, clips out. And you would just let that hair, now this is for those girls who just want to trim and they have one length hair. So they're going to bring it right around to their shoulder and let it sit right on their shoulder. And then you would cut it right wherever it is, whether you want it to be like mine is on my collarbone. I've got curly hair today. So you're going to pull it all forward, parting it right down the back, let it lay, and then cut right here or down wherever the length is that you just want to trim your ends. I wouldn't get scissor happy. Your stylist, when you get back to her, might be a little shocked with how much you've cut or how less is more, believe it or not. You just want to trim your ends and have your hair just feel that little bit better, fresher and less dry on the end. So you would do that with both sides. So parting perfectly down the middle in the back and then cut, and that will trim the length. And because you pulled it forward and down in the front, it keeps the length in the back and it's fairly even, okay? The other little one, for those who have their layers, so their layers are in through their hair, my little trick for that is to take, if you have a tail comb, a comb that has an end on it like this. I know the lighting in here is not helping a whole lot, okay? You can either draw a circle around. My favorite thing to do that shows less if we've made a mistake is to, it's like drawing a star. You go down and up, and I'm just gonna show you. You would feel it on your head as you went around. And you can do one side at a time if you want. So I'll swing her around. So I hopefully can show you that. As you can see, my lines go up and down, right? Up and down, just drawing almost like a star all the way around. And so then what you're going to do is hold your head perfectly straight. Once you have, you can do one side at a time and just hold it right up, combing out all the tangles. Try it, have it be as smooth and all, and then you're going to come right up, and then you're just going to take off. Let me see if I stand in front there. That's a little better. Okay, I'll stand right in front of her, that window behind. So once you have that all up, I would do one side at a time because it can be a lot of hair, and you're going to hold it just like that, right straight up. And you're going to take off again those dry ends, just cutting. Let me see, can you see there? Just a nice little jagged line, right? Just on the very ends. Because you pulled it up and you have some of the hair at the bottom, that's key. Then you're not cutting into the length. You just trimmed your layers, right? So we'll do the same. Off her bang, I'm going down to draw a triangle. Down, drawing a triangle. And it doesn't have to be picture perfect is what's great about this. You're just giving yourself a nice little trim of your layers. I've got two combs in my hand now. I'm really multitasking. It's supposed to be my scissors. Okay. Again, straight up as straight as you can. And you can see the little ends just to take off the dry ends. So that's for your layers. If you just want to give them a little trim. So we did the bangs, we did her length by pulling forward, and we trimmed our layers, just like that. Okay, that's a nice quick little haircut. And now what I'm going to show you is how to style this really quick. A lot of ladies, a lot of my clients tell me, you know, that they can't straighten their hair, they can't curl their hair like I do or that you do. It's not so much me, it's learning how to use your curling iron. You're learning how to use your tools to the best of your advantage. So she has nice loose curls. And what a lot of the girls have been doing lately is that nice loose curl that's not too curly at the top. So what you're going to do is take nice large sections, okay? Nice large sections of hair. Give you that looser curl no matter what size of barrel you have. I use mostly a 1-inch curling iron. That's my go-to. So a smaller section will give me a tighter curl, a larger section will give me a looser curl. So remember that. And then what they're doing, like there's two different ways to put the hair in the curling iron. One is called feeding it, and then most people way back would have done it like this. They would have taken it, pulled it all the way down, and then rolled it up. Okay, and that's not wrong, but you get a tighter curl on the bottom and a looser curl on the top. The other one is where you take it and you go like this, and there's hair hanging from the bottom, and then you feed it. It's called feeding it through your curling iron. Okay? So the way people have been wearing it lately that I just love, and it's right in style right now, is if you've blown out your hair, that's something we're going to touch on too, is a couple of little ways, tricks with blow drying that are either adding to why your hair doesn't feel good, and you can just change a couple of things there that make it that will make it feel a lot better. So I'm going in close to her scalp, not to curl it, but to pull it nice and sleek, and then halfway down I put that bend in it, right? So that my curl is at the bottom and it's still loose. And she has a nice sleeker look across the top. Again, quick and easy. Slide it right through, halfway down, put the bend in it, and then feed the rest of the hair bit by bit through the iron. Now I'm going to go back because I added this bang to her. And just do the same there. And we're just going to just put a nice little bend in her bang and have that swoop back into it. Again, slide it right down. And just a bend on the end, right? That's looking better on her already. And this is mannequin hair, so keep that in mind. This is not the nicest hair to work with. Okay, again, we'll start. So I'm going to chat a little bit about when you wash your hair and then you condition it. Have a nice wide tooth comb in there to comb the conditioner through. You want it to go through, and then one of the things that I notice is a lot of people, or even teenagers, make sure you rinse your conditioner out thoroughly, for sure. You want to make sure you do that. And then when you get out, when you go to towel dry, this is my biggest pet peeve with a lot of my clients, to find out how they towel dry their hair. Most people will take and put the towel over their hair and then rub it vigorously, which I'm afraid is not the way to do it. You can wrap your hair in the towel and squeeze it dry or pat it dry. Because the biggest thing that happens when you take the towel into wet hair and go like this, you are fraying the ends of the hair. I don't think a lot of people realize that a strand of hair is actually, under a microscope, like the shingles on your roof of your house. So because of that, when you rub them with the towel, you're forcing those little layers that lay on top of each other to flip up, to break off, and to split, depending on, you know, the condition of your hair. It's only making the surface of your hair rougher, and you're adding to the damage to it. So that one little thing to towel dry your hair without rubbing it, just squeeze it and pat it dry, is the best thing you can do to start swinging, because a lot of people are like, oh, my hair just doesn't feel that good. That's usually one of the things I find that they're doing that they can stop doing, and their hair will immediately start feeling better, for sure. One last curl. As you can see, this didn't take me long at all. Nice big sections, right? Last one, I'm just feeding it through. Now the key to have it staying looking like this is any little serum that you have for styling. Nice, thin, and light. And I'm just going to rake that through her hair. And there. She has a nice little trim. She's got nice little soft curls in there. I think I'm actually going to swing that curl in the front, even if I wanted to. Change it around, see what happens when I swing it the other way. So there's no wrong, or yep, no, it was better the other way. Because everybody's face shape is different, so you can decide which way you like your hair to fall around your face. There. So that was pretty quick and easy, as you can see. And you just rake it through when it comes to those nice soft curls. So that's that little one there, okay? So now I am going to move on. I'm just going to quickly check to see. Hopefully you are all getting the kind of information you need to help get you through this trying time. I'm not really sure how to see if everybody's in there or not. I'm new to the webinar thing, so bear with me there. So for the girls who need their color done, or maybe that they've, you know, went out to the store and bought some color. This is typically what a tube of color looks like when you're buying a tube of color. And then you will also get, in it, there'll be the processing solution as well. And it comes in different strengths. For permanent hair color, it's usually 20 volume. There's a 10, 20, 30, and 40. And the reason I tell you that is because when you're bleaching or highlighting, I pick different strengths according on the quality of somebody's hair. So that's why I don't recommend bleaching your own hair unless you're desperate to just pop in a few foils to break up what your roots are starting to look like there. The key thing to picking your color, the color scale is 1 to 10. I'm a 1, so my hair is black, so it's a 1, and then this girl here, she has sort of an auburn in her hair, but as far as level of light and dark, she's more of like a 7, and her ends are more of like an 8. And of course, 9s and 10s are really, really light. So the key is to pick the color that you don't necessarily go by the swatches per se. If you look at a swatch, you might want to go a shade lighter when you see the little swatches, because it's not the color you see is the color you get. There is actually a bit of a chemical reaction there. So you want to be able to check the numbers and letters that are on there, because there's a 6, so that tells me it's a level 6. And then the letters also mean something too. N meaning natural, A meaning ash, and then G's or B's meaning gold and beige, which help cover gray, by the way. So depending on how much gray you have, you'll want to add gold or beige. So you'll want to make sure that it does have that in it. Without getting too technical, once you've chosen a color, if anybody has any questions about that, they can ask me too as well in the little message box, which I'll get to those after, or you can even inbox me. So when it comes to applying the color, so you're going to mix up your color. You're going to put your processing solution with your color, and there'll be a chemical reaction, and you wait a couple of minutes, and you'll have a bowl and a brush to paint with. And I'm not even sure if I was clever enough to bring one of those over here, or no, I see I did not. So the biggest thing is sectioning and having great clips to section your hair and put things out of the way. And you should probably end up putting on a pair of gloves as well. Part the hair down the center and down the center of the back and then part ear to ear. So I want you to have 4 sections of hair when you go to apply your color, okay? That is key. And then what you're going to do is, I probably should have got myself a little paintbrush, but I see I don't have one. Okay. So what you're going to do when you mix it up, I want you to be close to a mirror. Another handy thing to have is a mirror like this as well, so that you can see in the back of your head and check every now and then. You can get these at the dollar store, by the way. Those are great for that. So you will go ahead and, so here's the trick to start off. When you're going to color your own hair, you've got it all mixed up. You've got your 4 sections all together. So you paint, let's tip her forward, just so you can. So you dip the brush into the bowl, only needing a little bit on your brush, and then you go in and you paint just the part of the hair. Don't paint the colored part, because color over color will get darker, darker, darker over time. If it touches it a little bit, it's not going to hurt it too much. So you want to paint your roots, and then you want to paint the roots, of course. I want you to paint the whole perimeter around your face as well, to start off in those 2 front sections. That'll help keep you organized, and the color won't go where it's not supposed to if you've painted your hairline, okay? So then you will just quickly paint in little slices, painting both sides. It'll go a lot quicker if you've got it sectioned, and it'll stay a lot neater and tidier as well, okay? The biggest thing I find people who color themselves at home, they tend to color all of it and just pull it right through. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because color, like I just said, color over color can make it even darker. So paint as much of the root as possible. And like I said, when you apply 4 sections, do the hairline, go down the center, and then go left to right, left to right. Do not pull the color through the ends until the end of the processing solution. If you don't have any highlights and you want to freshen up the end color, you can do that, but the color that's in the bowl is permanent, and you don't need permanent color on the ends. So when you're close to near the end of the timing process, then you can pull the color through to the ends. Wet the hair a little bit with water, and then use the color as a shampoo to loosen it and to pull it through to the ends. So that's a little trick there as well, as far as doing that. So that's your color, to pick your color and how to apply it as well, and making sure that you section it. So, and then the only other little thing would be like the bleaching and adding a few highlights, but I think that's sort of a little tricky, and maybe we can talk about if there's someone brave enough that wants to give that a try, just to break up the root section on the top of their hair, which we call the mohawk section. I can show you that at a later date, or you can inbox me and ask me that as well, okay? So that has to do with a little bit of coloring kind of thing. So if you are I'm going to say, well, I'm black. So the level of browns are 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's like 4 areas that we consider to be brown, right? From dark, very dark brown, medium brown, light brown, and then level 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are levels of blonde, right from dark blonde to a very, very light blonde. And depending on how much gray you have in percentage, 10, 25%, or 50%, that's going to change the letter combination, whether you're just going to have a natural, whether or not you're going to need a little gold in there to cover the gray, and then the ash helps it from looking too orange or brassy. Okay, so that's a little sneak peek to what the letters might mean on the box, and then the numbering system for color. I don't know exactly what it is that's in the I'm not a big fan of boxed color, but if you're going to pick a brand, my recommendation is L'Oreal, just because L'Oreal is one of my professional lines that I do use, because it comes in a professional level as well, but it's also out there for retail. So that's a little plug for L'Oreal if you're going to pick. I understand their color scheme, and it's quite simple as far as that goes. I'm going to move on real quick to, I don't know if this is getting too long for everybody. I'm going to move on to Rob. Rob and our men's cut. Now, I know there's a lot of women out there that are probably giving their sons and their husbands a little cleanup with their haircuts. So, and they probably run out and bought themselves a clipper as well. So I just wanted to give you a little quick tutorial on how to use, because these can be very handy, but they can be very dangerous at the same time. They can quickly make a mistake, and there's very little error, very little room for error. So I'm just going to comb out his hair because it's a little sticky from all the gel that I had in it. And as you can see, he does have his cut already, but so I'm just going to demonstrate how to do this little bit of fade and why these come with different. So this would be considered, when there's no guard on it, 0. So if you were to take this, it's going to take it right down, as not as close as a shave, but pretty close to where there would be no hair there, right? So no guard means no hair if you touch the skin with that. So what I recommend is, I'm using a smaller one. This is a peanut. They consider this to be a peanut, and Wall is my brand of choice when I'm using my clippers. They're my favorite. And the other thing is to use clipper oil. Put a couple of drops of clipper oil to clean it between every single time you use it. Now there's different guards, 1, 2, 3, 4 are what these come with. So the couple of little tricks that nobody tells you about, I don't even know if it would be in the instruction manual when it comes to this. So when you're cutting a man's hair, even a woman's, but you don't cut too many women's hair, this short. So the head is round, right? Technically it's round on the top, and so it has a straight side, and then there's a point of when it starts to turn or whatever, and we have a big fancy name for that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your clipper. I'm going to try and look at my phone really clear to see that what you're seeing. I'm going to look in my mirror actually, because I can't see without my glasses into my phone. So the flat edge of this clipper is going to go against his head, and you're literally going to guide that right up, and you're going to go straight up. Straight up. This is a number 4, right? Straight up with the number 4, and then that'll create actually a heaviness. Now, if you have that disconnected haircut where this is super long and this is super short, you can actually clip that hair up out of the way, which is what this gentleman has, right? And literally go right straight up like this with that. That's your key there. And then to fade it a little bit, you can drop down to the next level, which is number 3. So when you go to number 3, what you do is you don't go as high, right? And to be sure that you don't go that high, we do what's called scooping. I'm trying to find the best way to show you how to do it. So I would reach up and turn, scoop it out before you get to that top. And you would do that all the way around as well. And then you would go to 3, and then you go, this is 3, pardon me, and then 2, and then 1 takes it. 1 is even not as short as 0. Again, you go use the flat side and scoop it out. So there's going straight up for that very first one to get to where the head starts to round, and then you scoop out the other guards like 3, 2, 1. Now you don't, some people don't use all, I tend to go 4 and 3. I like to use 2, and then I like to use this to tidy things up. Where I turn it on, I can cut his sideburn, I can turn it on its side, and I can go around his hairline. So when I do that, I actually use the very corner, and I can see, and the same as you can on this, on my mannequin head, you can see the hairline, and you just draw it. draw and follow along the hairline, and it'll give you a nice, perfect edged cut along there, right? And it shouldn't grab him or grab his skin because you're just using the rounded edge of the clipper. Okay, so those are a couple of tricks as far as that goes with using the clipper. Then what happens is you have this heavy weighted line because you've just cut it, even though it's faded, you've cut it like this, and now there's like what we would call a corner there, and you have to take the corner out unless they like that weighted line. For the most part, you're going to take out that corner, and the easiest way to do that is, and with control, is with the scissors, and you just take out and you hold the hair up like that, and of course you don't see it on here because I've already cut it, but there'd be a point of hair, that corner that I was just telling you that you created. When you pick up that hair, that corner will be there. So you'll just lift the hair up right on that corner and take your scissors and cut right there. That would be the best way to take that corner piece out so that doesn't sit too heavy there, right? And again, that's exactly the same thing you would be doing on that side, depending on which way he parts his hair. And then the only other thing you would have to do after that is to go straight across and trim across the top. And that will give your man a great little, you know, touch up of his haircut without messing it up too much. That his barber will be a little upset, or his stylist, that she's now got to let things grow out and that there's holes in it and different things like that. So that is how you want to touch up your men's cut or your son's cut without changing it up too much. I'm going to slip my glasses on again, once again, just to tap in so that I can see how everything is going. Okay, so that's a little touch on the men's cut and a little bit of with the styling of hair. Again, reminding everybody how important it is during this trying times to, with these hair everywhere, these trying times, how important it is to, even on the days that you're not feeling like it and you have a heaviness about you, you know, with everything that's going on in the world right now. I myself too have been experiencing my ups and downs as well, and I have children in the house, and I have to be conscious of how they see me and how I'm handling this whole situation as a whole, with me being out of work at the moment and being home all the time. So on those days that I can actually get out of bed and put myself together, like this morning, knowing I had to come in here to see you guys, whether you have something going on or not, mentally, it's such a huge help to just jump in that shower, to blow out your hair, and you know, whether it's to give yourself a little cut or a little trim and to style it up that day, or maybe put on a little bit of makeup, even if it's just your, you know, your eyeliner or your mascara, how important it is to your well-being, and letting us all know that, you know, there are brighter days to come. And when we look good, my biggest saying here in the salon is when you pass by mirror and you glance in and your hair looks good, then you feel good inside, no matter what. It's lifting for me for the day to see that, you know, to take care of ourselves is one of the best things that you can do mentally and physically. I can't say enough about that for sure. The other thing I wanted to touch on, just realizing that I didn't mention before when I was talking about styling your own hair and the blow drying and different things like that. Blow drying is key as well. I might go to my little question and answer. If there was anybody who was asking any questions, I'm just about finished to wrap up, unless there's anybody who wanted to know. Another little trick, and I had my hair dryer out here to mention it to you, is when you're blow drying. I had mentioned about towel drying your hair, and to blot with the towel as opposed to rubbing the hair with the towel, right, when we get out, because that just sprays it and everything else like that. So when it comes to blow drying it, always blow dry from the root to the ends. Even if you turn your head upside down and you're just going like this, it should always be root to ends so that you're not making, if you do have split ends or dry ends, you're not making them look worse. Okay? So blow drying, the way you blow dry actually can play a big part on how your hair looks afterwards when it's time to go ahead and style it. There are many different products out there. I can answer a number of questions on whether it is you're trying to straighten your hair, to curl your hair, best treatments that are out there right now, and different kinds of things that you can use for your hair. I used a serum when I went to pull her curls out and rake them out with my fingers. I didn't use a brush. One of the other little products that I would use, because hairspray is always a setting spray. I'm not a big hairspray fan or whatever. I have a couple of my favorites. I prefer things that are light unless I'm, you know, got an updo kind of thing and I want it to stay all day, all night. My other favorite little product, and I know this is probably showing it to you backwards, is the Wax Blast from Redken, and it's a number 10, and it's a spray wax. So what I like about that is it helps keep my curls all piecey looking and more defined. And what I like mainly about it, unlike hairspray, which will dry and then be hard, is that this is pliable. You can touch it, you can move your hair, and it won't disturb, you know, the curl and the definition of it. And it's still touchable is the biggest thing that I like about this particular product. So that's really good too. I'm here in Miramichi Shear Heights Studio. We also have our online shopping. So any of the products you want to ask me about, you can jump online and you can actually get $25 off your very first purchase. It's delivered right to your door. It doesn't matter where you live, all across New Brunswick, all across the Maritimes, if I'm not mistaken. And so I have my very own online shopping with Coastal Beauty. So, and my supplier being Maritime Beauty, that's a spin-off of them. So all your hair care needs, even your skincare needs, any of the tools that you need, any of the things that I've showed you today, except for the coconut oil, they have those products there. So I can answer a lot of questions as far as that goes as well. And I am just going to move her aside for a second, just so that I can check and see if there are any questions of anybody out there to touch base with. I see people are speaking, so I have to click on this in order to, oh, there is some questions. Let me see. I'll take a glance at them. Okay. I would love to know what brand of curling iron you're using. Babyliss actually is my favorite. Babyliss curling irons. I do have those on my online shopping at Coastal Beauty, and I did just drop my card for that. So I'm just going to bend over to pick that up. The joys of live television, for sure. Okay, so I'll show you that again. What serum did you rub in through her hair? There's a number of different serums. I'll show you that as well. It was called Diamond Oil, Shatterproof Intense Shine. Mannequin heads have really, really dry hair, so I did that for her. I haven't used box dye in years, but when I did, I literally used it just to pour it all over my hair and rub it in. Thankfully, I get it done professionally. Okay, so there's some questions. Now, so this was the oil that I did use. There's a number of different serums out there. Paul Mitchell has a super skinny. I like theirs. Redken has their argan oil, and then Redken has the diamond oil, and there's also Moroccan oil. They have a medium and a light as well. You can find all those products at my, I'm just going to, I don't know how to work this really well. Okay, so coastalbeauty.ca, and as you can see, there is a access code. Now, we have a Shear Heights Studio Facebook page, so you can actually shop now right there and find those products. Again, $25 off your very first purchase of $50. Okay, so let's see, like, okay, let's talk. let's talk a little bit about my go-to products, because I do, as you can see, have naturally curly hair, but I do straighten it. So a great shampoo and conditioner, a must, a must. I am a Redken fan, so I will plug those things the most. But if you color your hair at all, use a color-safe shampoo and conditioner, most definitely. And then you should have a little spray leave-in treatment. So you've shampooed, you've conditioned with a nice wide comb in the shower. You rinse that out thoroughly. You turn around and you towel dry your hair, which means to wrap it, squeeze it, blot it. No rubbing. You might as well be taking sandpaper and just scraping it against your hair. You're going to split your ends. You're going to dry out your ends even more. It's one of the worst things you can do. So towel dry it. Now, before you comb out the tangles that you're going to have, even from doing that, I suggest a product as well. This is a spray treatment, leave-in treatment. I've got my glasses on. Untitled by Redken. So it's got 25 benefits. So this is one of my go-tos. I won't even dry my hair unless there's a little spray of this. Now you spray this in, you can leave it for 5 minutes and rinse, or you can leave it in and style from there. If you've sprayed too much in your hair, I tend to spray it in my hands and then put it in my hair. That way, two things, I'm not wasting it and I didn't put too much in my hair. So then I comb through, and you can feel immediately how much nicer your hair is going to feel. So it conditions, it nourishes, improves manageability, helps even out your porosity, reduces dryness, detangles. Like, this is your go-to. This Untitled 25 benefits. Now this is the small little retail bottle, but it also comes in a much larger bottle. If there's, besides yourself, you have daughters in your house, get the bigger bottle for sure. You get 400 mils instead of 150. Definitely worth it. So you shampooed and conditioned with a color safe. You have your spray leave-in, and then whether you're going to go curly or whether you're going to go straight with your hair, changes what you're going to use. There's a number of great products out there, and for volumizing as well. I tend to use like either a mousse or a light gel. I'm just going to check my cupboard and see what's up there. This is the Curvaceous line by Redken. They have 3 different curl enhancing. This has curl memory right in it. That's what brought my curl back to life. And this is the spray gel, but they have heavier creams as well. I think there's 2, if not 3 different types of curl enhancing, because everybody's hair is different. You got thick or coarse hair, or it's thin and fine. Oh, there's a few more questions we're going to answer. There's something else I want to chat about, some of my favorite products that Redken came out with, pillow proof, right? So this is a primer to dry your hair faster. All my girls with that thick hair, and it takes forever to dry it, so you don't bother, that's okay too. But if you do have somewhere to go, this is an express treatment primer. Time-saving blow dry primer with heat protection. Okay, heat protection is key this day and age. If your hair is drier and more split and everything than you ever remember, it's because our curling irons, our flat irons, our hair dryers are all a lot hotter than they used to be. So the Untitled as well has heat protecting in it, and then a number of other styling products do as well. This will save your hair drying time and protecting it from the heat. I'm just going to check on our girls and see what questions we have. I can answer more questions. Don't know, where did they go? Oh, let's see. Okay. Let me see if we'll have to try the Untitled. I use Milkshake and love it. Yes, we have Milkshake products here as well. They have a spray leave-in conditioner that's great as well. That's not on my online shopping, that one. I have quite a few brands, but that one and the Paul Mitchell ones are not. If there's any other questions as well, Okay, blonde hair, gray roots. I use blonde, purple. Okay, yes. Okay, let's talk about our blonde girls right now. A couple of my little tricks, because both my daughters are blonde. One of the things that's great for my blonde girls that I would probably have in my cupboard is a dry shampoo. A little dry spray shampoo. And just, oh, I do have, not, this here is perfect. So the Pillow Proof also has this as well. This is their primer, but this is their 2-day extender. Okay, as far as this oil absorbing dry shampoo. It smells amazing. And of course I used it all, but it, oh, there we go. Gives you a couple of extra days, right? Perfect for, especially I find for my blonde girls. The other trick, if you don't have any of that or you ran out, baby powder. Baby powder, less is more. To sprinkle that in, and that will also like visually make your roots look a little lighter and absorb the, because when my blonde girls, their roots are coming in, they feel like, number one, that they have dark roots because it's greasier looking and things like that. So that is so very true. And your purple shampoo, definitely something that you want to someone's asking me about the purple shampoo. They must have a purple hue in it. We can see this product on. Okay, so I don't quite see where that question is, but I'm assuming it's there about the purple shampoo. Yes. Is it possible to leave it in too long? Most definitely. The only good thing about that is having that purple or gray hue in your hair right now is actually sort of in. A lot of people are wearing it. But if you leave it in too long, it is a self-toning shampoo. So if you have that little bit of brassiness in your hair, it's great. But if you have super light pieces, they'll definitely look a little grayer and a little more purple and have that hue in it. I think it's only meant to stay in your hair depending on which line. The milkshake is one of the stronger ones I find works really well. So you don't have to leave it in as long unless you're specifically looking to have that gray hue to your hair. Okay, that's that question there. Let me see, I'm wondering why I can only see, okay, these ones are answered. About now, I don't know why I can't quite see everything. Let me see. Here are a few questions. Okay, should I use the blonde shampoo? Will the darker color now walk away with a couple of washes? Yes, actually, yes. If you can shampoo your hair without the purple shampoo, it will lighten it. If you found that it darkened your hair, definitely you could do that. Something that actually lifts hair that some people are, if you're trying to get it and that doesn't work, baby shampoo for some reason, I think the pH in that is a little bit different. That'll actually probably lift the purple shampoo if it's darkened it down. It could do that as well. My short bob has grown out and hard to manage. So the girl is asking about her short bob. I'd ask, is that bob, is your hair thick? There's a question. My thick-haired girls, because I know you're out there and you're panicking because your hair's not only getting long, but it's getting big. And desperate times do call for desperate measures. So if you do happen to own a pair and got yourself a pair of thinning shears, if you manage to get your hands on a pair of those, as you can see, these are thinning shears or texturizing shears. You don't want your teeth to be any more than that because there's chunking ones too. And so there's a couple of tricks to using these. So I'll share them with my thick-haired girls there now, or anybody else. And the girl with the bob, I'd want to know if your bob is unmanageable because your hair is so thick. That would be my question there. So when you're doing this, let's bring our girl back over. So my thick-haired girls, the first thing, whether your hair is shorter or medium length or long, the first thing you're going to do is I want you to take a circle of hair off the top. This is that top layer, that crown hair is going to come up. right? From your part, you're gonna take this hair right up. I should have shampooed this girl so she wasn't so tangly today, but. So let's do that and get that up, out of the way, nowhere where it will see the thinning shears, okay? So now you have this hair that's below, and this is usually where the thickness will come in on my girls as well. So you're gonna take, woo, goodness gracious. I love live TV. So if you're starting on the side before the ear, because again, section yourself so that you stay from, it keeps yourself from cutting hair you don't necessarily want to cut. So I'm going to take a 1-inch section down the side, okay? And I know this is going to seem monotonous and maybe like a lot of work. So I'm going to hold her hair out like this, out to the side. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that bottom part of the head. I don't want to cut that either. I don't want to cut into there. Because if I put short pieces in there, if she wants to go wear her hair up, there's going to be all these short little pieces. So this is literally the piece, the section that the bottom is away, the top is away. So this is within the haircut, right? Let's see if I can see better, or if you guys can see better. I apologize if I'm not set up good enough for you to see. The lighting is quite bad in here. So what you're going to do is, here's your 2 tricks. That was one of them. Get the top hair out of the way, get the bottom hair. That is the outside of the whole haircut, so that if you were to put your hair in a ponytail, you won't see the hair that you thinned, those short pieces. Key is never cut within that first inch, right? Bring the thinning shears out from the head an inch, if not a little bit more. You can go in there, and this looks so dangerous, I know. But holding just an inch of hair, I can actually see where her hair is a little too thick and where it starts, especially if she's a girl I've done before. So I'm looking at this and I can tell that it's thicker here than it is on the top section of her hair. So I'm just going to cut in here, and because I cut straight to her head like that, and I'm going to take that hair out, when I go to drop the hair, now those pieces that I cut like this are now going to fall in layers. So you're not going to see a bluntness to the hair that I just thinned out, right? Again, if I'm doing this front piece, this is really heavy around her front, I'm going to take the perimeter hair, the hair that sits right against her face. I'm going to take that out, right? And there's her thick piece of hair. It's not that thick right here. She has a highlight in there. I don't want to touch that. I'm going to come out an inch or so from her head, and I'm going to just cut the one time. No yum, 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 yum. Just the one time to take that weight out, right? And that'll be enough to lighten the load. So that's the key to wanting to, and needing to take out a bit of weight with your hair. I lifted it, I cut it 1 inch, an inch and a half from, and I only cut where it appeared to be thick within that section, right? And it was just one inch sections when I took her hair, right? So hopefully that'll help as far as that goes, so that you don't make a mistake so great that, you know, because when you make a mistake with thinning shears, or you've cut too much or anything else like that, the only way to fix that is to let it grow back out, I'm afraid. Let me see my girls here. Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh, the rooftop chef sprays, yes. And I didn't bring any with me today because I have all mine at home. She has thick layered black hair. Okay, yes, I'm going to check with her again. There is the spray. L'Oreal Professional is the line that I use here. Again, it comes in 6 different colors. There's 2 blondes. There's like a warm blonde and then a dark blonde, if I'm not mistaken. There's about 3 shades of brown. There's a black brown, which is what I would use. And then there's an auburn color as well. And they actually, and L'Oreal sells the root touch-up in Shoppers Drug Mart and stuff like that as well. But what I'm hearing, even though it's the same company, mine's L'Oreal Professional, and that's L'Oreal, what I'm finding that people are saying or have a problem with is the nozzle itself. The nozzle itself and the ones that you get in the Shoppers Drug Mart are like a hairspray can. The ones that you can get off my website, they're L'Oreal as well. They have a spray, but they have a tiny little straw-like nozzle, so you can get exactly where you want it to go without it going all over the place, right? I tend to use mine not just for root touch-up, but I have thin, fine hair, and I love the way it makes the top of my hair look thicker when I've sprayed my scalp as well as my roots. So when you go to do it, you constantly, the application is key because you don't want to look like you have a spot of spray paint on your roots. So when you go to spray, my trick for that is to always be moving your hand and spray. And this is empty, so it makes it easier. And then I spray around the face like this. My hair is thin right here where my temples are. And I would do both sides. As you can see how thin my hair is, and I color it black, so my skin, and I have a little bit on there already. So yes, definitely root touch-up sprays. I do recommend them. You don't need to do your whole head. You just need, I tend to do right here in the perimeter, and I tend to do my part, and then a little bit of my crown I'll do, because my hair wants to split back there. So my girl that I'm chatting with that has the thick bob, it's probably doing that little trick like I showed you to take the weight within it. But if it's getting thick right here at the bottom and it's starting to get what we call like a bell, if you do have the thinning shears and you do want to take a stab at trying to make it not do that, if you've done what I said already with going within the middle of the haircut by sectioning off the top and leaving out the very bottom and going in through like that, 1-inch sections and just taking out a bit of weight. If that hasn't solved your problem or made it, it's going to make it a little bit better. But if you're finding the bottom really thick and heavy still there, what I would recommend is to, and I'm going to use this lady's bangs as an example. So because her bangs sort of sat a little heavy. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick up the bottom of your ear and you're going to pull it out sideways from your head and just on the end. So this is not thinning. This is thinning in here. But if you go to the ends of the hair, that last inch of hair, that last inch and a half, and you go on the ends, you're texturizing the ends so that when that drops, now it's thinner and finer on the ends and it won't seem as big. So I don't know if that's going to help you or answer your question there. Like I said, if you own thinning shears and you want to give that a try, I would definitely, you know, I know I have a number of thick-haired girls and they're panicking quite a bit or whatever as far as, you know, their hair getting so big and thick and the shape of it is just not there, right? Okay, well, I think I've answered a lot of questions, I believe. I'm not sure if there's any more out there. Let me see. Can we see the product online? Yeah, you should be able to see a number of the products that I showed you online today. One of my favorite straightening products, and I talked about curling, but the straightening is a line. So after you shampoo and condition and you do your little spray in to get out your tangles and stuff like that, you can pat your hair dry after this as well, in case you put in a little bit too much. Because if you blow dry your hair and you put too much One United in it, it's going to feel like it's a little bit dirty. And what you'll do then is just rinse your hair and then go from there. But you will learn how much is too much for your hair. But then I would use a line if you're going to straighten your hair that day. This is a silky lotion that defrizzes brilliantly while adding control to your hair. So that's one of my other favorite products as well. And then for the men that are out there, there's a whole line. Redken has their Redken for Men finishing cream, Get Groomed. They also have Sexy Hair has their men styling products. So there's lots on there for you to check out and see. Another little quick, I'm going to show you one more trick. This is my back combing powder, the light back combing powder, and it's called Puff Me, as you can see. And instead of sprinkling it in your hair like this, it's just a puff. Kimberly, so this is something else that you might want to check out on the online shopping. I'll just demonstrate that really, really quick, because people seem to be quite impressed when they see that. So what you would do with the Puff Me is, again, just spraying at her roots. A little bit. You don't have to go through the whole hair, just in the back comb area that you want to back comb. And this is like back combing for dummies or crack cocaine for hair. So I just sort of massage it in at the scalp there. And as you can see, just me doing that, her hair is starting to get some volume, some thickness at the root. But as you can see, just using that, now I have something to back comb against. And I can literally make the hair as big as I want. Again, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then, as you can see, the back combing, and then you just smooth over the top. There we go. And their hair will never seem, even though hair when it's straight and smooth and silky should never be flat to your head. So that's my little trick with the Puff Me and the back combing and getting that volume and height from hair without, you know, damaging it too much. When it comes to the psoriasis, I do have a number of clients who have that dry scalp, and they are taking medications and things like that, and it seems like when I color their hair, it gives them somewhat of a relief. But though I don't have the condition myself, I've seen it a number of times, and I find nourishing the scalp is key. I know a couple of my kids have had dry scalp issues that weren't necessarily psoriasis. They weren't at that level, but believe it or not, the coconut oil, because I don't know if this is because, but it is one of the oils, natural oils that are out there that the skin will absorb 100% of the nutrients from this. And so when I buy mine at the bulk barn, and it comes raw like this, and then I put it in a number of different containers. I put it in my bath water. I use it as a hair mask. I use it as a makeup remover. It takes makeup off like a dream. So I have a little bit in my hand, and as you can see, it melts almost instantly. So what I would do, where your psoriasis is, where the dry skin is, so once it's on your hands or whatever, I'd reach up into my hair and I would touch and rub my scalp and get it all, you know, I would do this at the end of the day if you wanted to, and really, really massage that in to the dry skinned area of your scalp. Now, I've done hair masks with coconut oil, hair and scalp, and then massage with this product. So, and I know it's sort of a little cheat. I know there's a number of different actual hair products out there, but they can get expensive. And during these trying times, we're all a little more financially strained for sure. So this is one of my little more inexpensive go-to hacks, if you want to say, hair hacks. That's literally, you know, can help make your hair feel better and look better, and along with your scalp and your skin as well. So that's my little trick there as far as that goes. There was another little thing that popped up there. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. And scissors would you recommend for home care maintenance? Now, I didn't look at the different brands, but I would specifically look for scissors that actually are meant for cutting hair. The thing is like kitchen scissors, though they cut, their edge is more blunt, and you want it to be more something that can slice through tissue paper actually. But I would definitely get the bigger brand names are quite expensive, things that we use, but I believe you can get, I'm not even gonna guess, but I would definitely recommend scissors that are specifically for cutting hair. That would be your key, not just any other scissors that are out there for like construction paper, arts and crafts, or anything else like that. Though they will do the job, they will cut the hair a little more bluntly, I think, and a little more aggressively. It's more of like a tear as opposed to a cut. and I think you would prefer it to be a cut. Okay. Chat. Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. The key thing, and another little key thing, all these little keys, is not to use them for anything else. If cutting hair is what you want them for, only cut hair. Don't grab them to cut a piece of paper. Don't grab them to cut a piece of thread or anything else. If that's what they're for, leave them for that. There's also oils out there for your shears or whatever to keep them sharp. I find yeah, that's key. Keeping them clean, and only for, because I find one, if I was to start using these for, goodness, where did everybody go? Oh, there we are. If I was to use them for anything else, these scissors would definitely get dull over time. And us as stylists, we pay a lot of money for our scissors, unfortunately, but because of that, we also look after them, and we actually have maintenance guys who actually sharpen our scissors professionally for us periodically, because they do and will and can get dull. Because sometimes we'll cut hair dry and there's already product in it and things like that. Those are things that can dull your scissors, as well as using them for anything but hair. So that you don't want to do. I'm giving away all my trade secrets, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And we want, I think I can speak as a whole as stylists, that, you know, we want you, despite everything that's going on, we want you to feel good about you and feel good about your hair, and during all of this, until we can see you again. So I would rather give you the tools and the knowledge for you guys to be able to look after your hair until you can come back and see us again, and we can get you back on track with your cuts and your colors. And at the same time, it will help you feel good about you, and all of us being able to get through this mentally and physically in the best way that we can, with, you know, all having each other's backs. That's why I don't mind sharing at all my little secrets in helping you to be able to feel good about yourself and feel good about your hair, and be in the mood and be in a better mood to want to get up and wash your hair that day and blow it out, because, you know, it's looking good and feeling good. So you guys can message me anytime. I have a Shear Heights Studio Facebook page, Audrey Jean Lynch on Facebook as well. And if you have any more questions or anything about the products or anything that I recommend, or any other techniques that you might want to know that'll help you get through all of this, definitely check me out there. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And as well, I can see when you guys go online and you can register and you can do some window shopping there. I believe you can also write a review of the salon page and stuff like that. So that would be great. Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And if you ever need any more help or information on anything that we talked about today, or even if I missed something and I didn't touch on everybody, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a great week, and stay well and stay safe, everybody. Bye for now.